Hello students, today we learn about the Science and Technology Part 1 Standard 9. Lesson number 1 Laws of Motion. First point given here, motion of an object. Can you tell? Question given for us, in which of the following examples can you sense motion? Four examples are given. First one, the flight of a bird, a stationary train, leaves flying through air, a stone lying on a hill. So think about these four examples and in which example you sense motion. Now see on the next slide. And presence and absence of motion. First of all, what is meant by motion? If a body changes its position with respect to its surrounding, it's called a motion. So we observe a motion in example number 1, the flight of a bird, and example number 3, leaves flying through air. Absence of motion. Body at rest, that is, it does not changes its position with respect to its surrounding. It's called absence of motion. It means the body at rest. So we observe absence of motion in example number 2, that is a stationary train, and example number 4, a stone lying on a hill. Think about it. Question given for us. First one. You are traveling in a bus. Is the person sitting to you in motion? Answer is no. The person sitting next to you is not in motion. Second question. What do you take into consideration to decide if an object is moving or not? So answer. Motion is a relative concept. If the position of an object is changing with respect to its surrounding, it is said to be in motion. Otherwise, it is said to be at rest, means not in motion. Next point here given, displacement and distance. Question given for us. Who will take less time to reach the school and why? Now observe the figure. Now in the given figure, Sheetal and Prashant house is shown at point B. Path A means Sangeeta's house, and from Sangeeta's house through the path B, school is there. And one more way is shown here, directly from Prashant's house to school. That distances, that lengths are given in meter. Now see there. Answer. Prashant will take less time than Sheetal to reach school because he cover less distance, that is 1300 meter, than Sheetal's distance. What is the Sheetal distance? 500 meter plus 1200 meter is equal to 1700 meter, because Sheetal used the path A and after that path B, but Prashant directly reached to school through the straight line path, that is 1300 meter. The actual distance between school and house along straight line is 1300 meter, while distance travelled by going via Sangeeta's house and thus by changing direction of motion is 500 plus 1200 is equal to 1700 meter. So distance travelled in this case is greater than the actual distance. So we are see the points of distance and displacement in the form of distinguish. So you are getting the idea. First of all, distance. Define distance. Yeah, what is the definition of distance? The length of the actual path travelled by an object in motion while going from one point to another is called distance. So what do you mean by displacement? The minimum distance between the starting and finishing points is called displacement. Next difference between these two terms, distance is a scalar quantity. So what is meant by scalar and vector, that you already learned in previous standard. Then also we learn in detail in the next slide. So distance is a scalar quantity. Displacement is a vector quantity. Vector quantity means magnitude as well as direction is required. Next distinguishing point, distance is always positive, but displacement may be positive, negative or zero. In case of distance, next distinguishing point, it is always greater than or equal to the displacement, and in case of displacement, it is always less than or equal to distance travelled. Now units. SI unit of a distance is a meter and CGS unit is centimeter in both the cases, because distance and displacement are measured in the form of length. So units in SI system and CGS system is the same. for both the terms, that is distance and displacement. Now use your brain power. What is given for us here? First point. Every morning Swarali walks around the edge of a circular field having a radius of 100 meter as shown in figure 1.2a. If she starts from point A and takes one round, how much distance has she walked and what is her displacement? And one more question given for us, second activity question. If a car starting from point P goes to point Q, see in figure 1.2b, and then returns to point P, how much distance has it traveled and what is its displacement? Now think about these two questions and we are see the answer on the next slide. See the first answer. Distance walked by Swarali. So what is given here? That circular path. How to find out the distance covered on circular path? So that round path, circular path means nothing but circumference. So we are using the formula of circumference to find out the distance. So distance walked by Swarali is equal to 2 pi r. That is the formula of circumference. Substitute the value. So 2 multiplied by value of pi is 3.14 multiplied by radius is given 100 meter. So after calculation we are getting the answer 628 meter. Now displacement of Swarali is 0 because she returns to the initial point. Check here. So I will start walking from point A on this circular path and come back to the same point again. So no difference in initial and final point. That's why displacement is 0. Second answer. Distance traveled by car. So distance between PQ plus distance between QR. Check here. Start the car from point P to Q. So distance PQ. And again come back from point Q to P, so distance QP. So 360 plus 360, answer is 720 meter distance traveled by car. But in case of displacement of the car is 0 because it returns to initial point. No any difference between the initial and finishing point. That's why displacement is 0 in case of car also. All are getting next. Can you recall? Now see there. Scalar and vector. So first point is given definition. What do you mean by scalar? A physical quantity which is expressed in magnitude alone is called scalar, and vector means a physical quantity which is expressed in magnitude as well as direction is called vector. For example, what are the example of scalar quantities? Distance, then speed, that is a printing mistake is there, then time, etc. And examples of vectors are displacement, velocity, direction as well as magnitude is required to measure these terms, that is displacement and velocity. So these are the examples of scalars and vectors given here. Now always remember SI system. SI system means International System of Units. So two systems are there, MKS. MKS system is also called as SI system, and second one is CGS. The full form of MKS means M means meter, what we measured in meter, so length. Second, K means kilogram, what we measured in kilogram, that is the mass. And S means nothing but second, what we measured in second, so time. So length measured in meter, mass measured in kilogram, and time measured in second. Now in CGS, length measured in centimeter, mass measured in gram, and time measured in second. Now in both the system MKS as well as CGS, time is measured in the same unit, that is the second. Remember, that is very important. Now next point is speed and velocity. So we see the answer of this speed and velocity in the form of distinguish. First point is given the definition. The speed means the distance traveled by an object in unit time is called speed, and velocity means the distance traveled by an object in a particular direction in unit time is called velocity. So in case of velocity, direction is very important, and for measuring the speed, direction is not required. That's why second point is, so speed is a scalar quantity, but velocity required magnitude as well as direction. That's why velocity is a vector quantity. Next point, speed is always positive or zero but never negative. But in case of velocity, it may be positive negative or 0. Last point is given the formula. Speed is equal to distance upon time, and velocity formula is given. Velocity is related to displacement. That's why velocity is equal to displacement upon time. If we substitute the units of distance, time, displacement in this formula, so we are getting the SI as well as CGS units of speed and velocity. So distance and displacement measured in the same unit, that is the meter, and time is measured in second. So in case of speed and velocity, SI unit is meter per second and CGS unit is centimeter per second. Next, effect of speed and direction on velocity. Now you observe in these three diagrams, three pictures. Now see that Sachin is traveling on motorbike. Explain what will happen in the following events during Sachin's ride. First one, what will be the effect on the velocity of motorcycle if its speed increases or decreases but its direction remains unchanged? That is in picture number 1. Second, in case of a turning on the road, will the velocity and speed be same? That is in second picture. If Sachin changes the direction of the motorcycle, keeping its speed constant, so what will be the effect on the velocity? Third one, if on a turning, Sachin changes the direction as well as the speed of the motorcycle, so what will be the effect on its velocity? Now from these three examples, it is clear that velocity depends on speed as well as direction, and the velocity changes by. So three conditions are given. Which are of that three conditions? First one, changing the speed while keeping the direction same. Second point, changing the direction while keeping the speed same. And third point, changing the speed as well as the direction. So for 3 marks, this question is asked. What are the conditions on which velocity changes? Now always remember, the first scientist to measure speed as the distance upon time was Galileo. Second, the speed of sound in dry air is 343.2 meter per second. Next, the speed of light is about 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. The speed of revolution of the earth around the sun is about 29,770 meter per second. So these are some points given for us. So always to remember. Next point, uniform and non-uniform motion. If an object covers equal distances in equal time intervals, it's called uniform motion. Uniform motion means if an object covers equal distances in equal time intervals, is called uniform motion. And second, if an object covers unequal distances in equal time intervals, is called non-uniform motion. Now see in this table, time is given, distance covered by Amar in kilometer and distance covered by Akbar. Now, so distance covered by these two persons at 5 o'clock. So initially 0. 5 to 5:30 means after half an hour, Amar covers the distance 20 km and Akbar covers the distance 18 km. Now in next half an hour, 5:30 to 6 o'clock, 20 to 40 means again 20 km distance covered by Amar, and 18 to 36 again 18 km distance covered by Akbar. Now again in next half an hour, 6 to 6:30, Amar covered distance from 40 to 60 means again 20 km, means time increases by half an hour and distance covered by Amar is every time 20 km, means same time and same distance covered by Amar. But in case of Akbar, from 6 to 6:30, check that from 36 to 42 km means only 6 km distance covered. But in previous cases 18 km distance covered. So distance covered by Akbar is not same. Time interval is same. That's why Akbar's motion is non-uniform motion, but Amar's motion is uniform motion. Now see the definition again. If an object covers equal distances in equal time intervals is called uniform motion, and non-uniform motion means if an object covers unequal distances in equal time intervals, it's called non-uniform motion. Next point is acceleration. The rate of change of velocity is called acceleration. The rate means nothing but change of velocity with respect to time. That's why formula is given there. acceleration is equal to change in velocity upon time. That upon time means nothing but the rate. The rate means nothing but with respect to the time, and that's why definition is very simple. Acceleration means the rate of change of velocity is called acceleration. Now there are two types of acceleration. First one is uniform acceleration. If the velocity changes by equal amounts in equal time intervals, is called uniform acceleration. And second, non-uniform acceleration. If the velocity changes by unequal amounts in equal time interval, is called non-uniform acceleration. Means time interval is same but change in velocity is not same. That is called as non-uniform acceleration. Now see the formula. Acceleration is equal to change in velocity upon time. If the initial, now change in velocity means what? What is the difference in velocity in between initial and final velocity? So here for symbolic representation, initial velocity indicated by the letter u, time indicated by small letter t, so that initial velocity changes to final velocity indicated by the letter v. That's why in symbolic form, acceleration a is equal to final velocity v minus initial velocity u upon time t. Clear? If we substitute the units, now SI unit of velocity, in previous point already we learned. What is the SI unit of velocity? That is meter per second. Again divided by time, means again once time we substitute the time unit of time, that is second. So meter per second again upon second, so 2 times upon seconds. That's why SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square. CGS unit of acceleration, so substitute the CGS unit of velocity and time. So centimeter per second, that is the CGS unit of velocity, and again once time substitute the unit of time, that is a second. So centimeter per second again upon second, so 2 times upon second, so centimeter per second square, that is the CGS unit of acceleration. Now 3 types of acceleration given here: positive, negative and zero acceleration. Question asked on this topic for 3 marks. What is positive, negative and zero acceleration? Now very simple. Now see the first of all, positive acceleration. When the velocity of an object increases, it's called positive acceleration. Now in case of positive acceleration, the acceleration is in the direction of velocity. For example, when we start the vehicle or bicycle, so what happened initially? Initially our vehicle at the rest position. After applying the force, velocity produced is in the direction of acceleration. So with respect to time, our velocity, our bicycle velocity increases. That's why velocity increases, and in the same direction acceleration produces. All are getting? Now second point, when the velocity of an object decreases with time, it's called negative acceleration, also called as deceleration. For example, our bicycle is in a motion, and when we apply the brakes, so what happened? The velocity of our vehicle, of our bicycle decreases, but displacement is in the forward direction. That's why what is given in definition check? When the velocity of an object decreases with time is called negative acceleration or deceleration, and therefore in this case what happened? The acceleration is opposite to the direction of velocity. Third point, zero acceleration. If the velocity of an object does not change with time, is called zero acceleration. So for example, if the object is at rest, means what is the acceleration in that object? So zero acceleration. And when the object is in a uniform motion, so in equal interval of time, equal changes in acceleration or equal changes in velocity, and that's why zero acceleration means if the velocity of an object does not change with time, it's called what? Zero acceleration. Next, now first equation of motion using graphical method. Now question asked related to this topic is for 3 to 5 marks. What is the question given here? Now check. Derive the mathematical equation of motion describing the relation between velocity and time by graphical method, that is Newton's first equation of motion. Now see in the graph, carefully observe this graph. It is the initial position 0 indicated by the letter O. Then on x-axis indicated the time, that is the t, up to point here E. Then from point O on y-axis we are taking the velocity. So initial object start from this point D in this direction up to the point B. So initial velocity is u. Object start from point D up to the B. So final velocity here indicated as a v, and from point D to B object cover the distance in time t. Here one more point is indicated as a a. Now this figure shows the change in velocity with time of a uniformly accelerated motion. Next, now see that the object start from point D in the graph with velocity, initial velocity u. Its velocity keeps increasing and after time t it reaches the point B on the graph. Now see the meanings of the symbol. Small u means initial velocity of the object, that is the OD. V means final velocity of the object indicated as a OC, and time t means nothing but time, that is a OE. Now see here, u means OD. Check in the graph from point O to D. It is the initial velocity. Final velocity means from point O up to the point here. Which point is given here? Now check that. That is a written here. That is final velocity OC, means from point O to up to point here. This point is indicated here C, and time on x-axis, that is a OE, is the time. Now therefore acceleration is equal to change in velocity upon time. So what is meant by change in velocity? Final velocity minus initial velocity upon time. Therefore a is equal to acceleration indicated by the letter A. What is the final velocity? Check here. Final velocity is OC minus initial velocity is OD, that we substitute here, upon time indicated by the letter T. But OC minus OD means what? Check in the graph. From point O to C minus O to D. So what is the remain? Only the distance CD is remain. So OC minus OD means nothing but CD. So that is nothing but the AT. So this t is a divide here, shift on the left hand side. So what we are getting? A multiplied by t. A means acceleration multiplied by t means time. So OC minus OD means in that graph that distance is remains CD. CD is equal to AT. This is the first equation. Now this part, this graph, and up to the equation number 1, this is a common part for the remaining two equations also. Now from the graph, distance BE means nothing but AB plus AE. Distance BE is equal to AB plus AE. Now see here, distance BE from point B to E here. So this AB plus this distance AE. Clear all of you? Now substitute the symbol. So BE is equal to what? From point E to B, that is indicated the final velocity. Check here. From point E to B, this distance is nothing but the final velocity V. Clear? Next, distance CD is 80. That's this value we taken from equation number 1. And OD means nothing but initial velocity u, that is given in the graph also. Therefore this u we rearrange the equation. So V is equal to u plus AT. This is the Newton's first equation of motion. So final velocity V is equal to initial velocity u plus AT means product of acceleration and time. So with the help of this equation, easily we find out the final velocity of an object. Next, second equation of motion using graphical method. Now again question asked like this way. See there. Derive the kinematical equation of motion describing the relation between displacement and time by graphical method, that is Newton's second equation of motion. Now up to the equation number 1 is the same that we write here as it is. Which one? I will show that. This graph and this up to the equation number 1, this part is common for the equation number 2 and 3. Now continue. Suppose that A means nothing but uniform acceleration of an object. S is equal to object covered the distance within time t. T means nothing but time. Therefore distance covered by the object is equal to area of quadrangle DOEB. Check in the graph. Area of quadrangle DOEB. Where is that? D O, E and B. This area is here. So whatever the area covered here, that is nothing but what? Distance covered by the object. So in that figure, in that quadrangle, area of quadrangle DOEB, distance covered indicated by the letter S, so is equal to. Now in that quadrangle, two figures are there. One is rectangle and one is triangle. So area of rectangle DOEA plus area of triangle DAB. Check that. Area of rectangle DOEA, this part, and above part is triangle, that is the area of triangle DAB. Area of triangle DAB. Check here. Now we know the formulas. Area of rectangle is equal to length multiplied by breadth plus area of triangle means half into base multiplied by height. So therefore distance covered by the object S is equal to, so in that rectangle DOEA, one side is a length, that is the AE, one side is a breadth, that is the OE, plus in case of triangle, half multiplied by one side is a base, that is the AB, plus one side is a height, that is the DA. Now but we know the values. AE means nothing but U, AE means nothing but U. Check there. From point, the distance AE, this is parallel to the y-axis from point O to D. AE means nothing but OD. And from point O to D, what we are taking here, our object start from this point D, so that is the initial velocity. OD means initial velocity. OE means nothing but time. Check that. OE means nothing but time, same value indicated by the DA, that is a parallel line. AB is equal to 80. This value we are taking from equation number 1. All these symbols we substitute in this step. So what we are getting, therefore S is equal to UT plus half 80 multiplied by T again. So we are getting the second equation, S is equal to UT plus half 80 square. This is the Newton's second equation of motion. So we find out the distance or displacement of object covered in time t at any time. So this is the second Newton's second equation of motion, S is equal to UT plus half 80 square. Next, third one. Derive the third equation of motion using graphical method. Derive the kinematical equation describing the relation between displacement and velocity by graphical method, that is Newton's third equation of motion. So again what we write here, we write as it is from that answer from that page of the notebook 11 with drawing graph. Means that part is the same graph, and the up to the equation number 1, that part is a common, that we write in case of this third equation also, and then afterward continue. Now distance covered by the object is equal to area of trapezium DOEB. Therefore distance covered by the object S is equal to area of trapezium DOEB. Now we know the formula how to find out the area of trapezium. So half multiplied by sum of lengths of parallel sides multiplied by distance between the parallel sides, that is nothing but the height. So from the graph we substitute these values. Distance covered by the object S is equal to half multiplied by, now which are the two parallel sides, OD plus BE. Now check that here. Which are the two parallel sides? OD and here this BE. Which trapezium we are taking? That is a DOEB. And two parallel sides. First parallel side is OD and second parallel side is the BE. Now what is the height between these? This is the perpendicular distance between these two parallel sides, that is a DA or OE. Clear? Now see there. So in this way we are taking the proper values from the graph and substitute here. So half multiplied by sum of parallel sides, that is OD plus BE, multiplied by distance between the parallel sides, that is the OE. But we know the values. From point O to D means nothing but initial velocity. BE from point E to B is parallel to y-axis from point O to final velocity V, and distance from O to E means nothing but time t. So we are substituting the values in that above equation. Therefore S is equal to half multiplied by U plus V multiplied by t. This is equation number 2. But we know the formula of acceleration A is equal to v minus u upon t. V minus u means what? Change in velocity upon time. We are interchanging the A and t. Therefore, t is equal to v minus u upon a, that is equation number 3. This equation number 3 we substituting in equation number 2. So equation 2 becomes, therefore distance covered by the object s is equal to half multiplied by v plus u multiplied by value of t is taking from equation number 3 above, that is v minus u upon a. These two terms upon 2 and upon a we are taking, that is a 2a, that is taking on left hand side. So 2as, 2 multiplied by a means acceleration, s means multiplied by distance is equal to v plus u multiplied by v minus u. So we know the formula in mathematics, like a plus b multiplied by a minus b, nothing but a square minus b square. Same terms are like here. So v plus u multiplied by v minus u means nothing but v square minus u square. So rearrange the terms, minus u square taking on left hand side. So we are rearrange the terms. So we are getting the answer v square equal to u square plus 2as. So this is Newton's third equation of motion. So in this way, these three kinematical equations of motion formulated by the scientist Newton, that is related to motion of an object, and we find out the answers of time, displacement, final velocity by using these three equations.